Sir, what's happening right now? What the fuck is happening right now? Where the fuck am I?
Absolutely wild international news. Israel was just accused of pulling off some, let's call it James Bond shit.
Okay, we're gonna start here. Phil knows for a fact that it's a genocide in Gaza. Why would...
In Lebanon, with them allegedly setting off hundreds of pagers belonging to Hezbollah. Also, just to be clear, I don't mean they got a little bzz, bzz. Why does it say boobs? They exploded, with Lebanese and Hezbollah officials claiming that Israel managed to force a bunch of pagers belonging to the terror group to explode, with the entire attack happening across the country over the span of an hour. An attack that reportedly killed at least 8 and injured over 2,700, although not all of them were Hezbollah fighters.
At least 8 people were killed and 2,750 others, including Hezbollah fighters, medics, and Iran's envoy to Beirut were wounded. Just a whole bunch of like, you really skipped every single point. Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, did I click it? I could have sworn I clicked it. Let me put this window down. That would make me feel a lot better. Because I got this shit. I really fucked up my setup. Because my arms are starting to hurt and I need to afford a new chair. But it's hard to afford a new chair when you're getting squeezed for all your money for rent. Anyway. The Pentagon answering. I didn't click this one.
Speaking, as a military officer, is this a capability that falls within the ethical conduct of a war?
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, again, going to do a spot analysis on something that we've seen in press reports. I just don't have any information to provide on that. Sorry.
Ethically.
Come on, man. That's too easy.
The government.
This shit is what shot Tupac.
Get the fuck away. You are about to die. But no, for real though, between this and the Philly D coverage, for real though, like, what the fuck is happening right now? Oh my God. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be fair and balanced. Because this is the second video I'm gonna make about this motherfucker. I'm gonna be fair and balanced, and I'm gonna say it again. Philly, I've been watching you since you had an earring in. What are you doing? Who approached you at the DNC? Please stop. Now I'm not even like asking you. I'm kind of pleading with you.
Fighters. That being said, the casualty number isn't shocking since footage from some of the attacks show that they happen in everyday places like grocery stores.
Yeah, dog. That's some James Bond shit.
And you had officials with the group describing it as the biggest security breach in the past year of fighting the group has had with Israel. Now, for their part, Israel has not confirmed or denied any involvement, which is pretty standard for them. But this is also not the first time Israel has allegedly done something like this, right? I mean, one time they did a similar trick with cell phones. But regardless, right, this is going to escalate.
Similar trick with cell phones? It's literally worse than suicide bombing, yes. Dog, are you good? Like, are you okay, Philly? Who paying you? Raytheon? You gonna stop watching Philly? It's starting to look like it. Like, this is actually getting a little too... And I don't like putting stock into anybody on the internet that hasn't like already cleared their stances and kept the same consistency within their reporting. But like, oh my Lord, do it. Make a stand. Say that.
Tensions between Israel and Hezbollah.
Again, fair and balanced. I haven't finished the segment yet.
which have been in a de facto war ever since Hamas's attack on October 7th. But the difference here is that you have people saying, neither side before seems super committed for various reasons. Right? For Hezbollah, it's likely because they were content firing missiles across the border and forcing many Israeli towns in the north to evacuate. And for Israel, it's because they were hyper-focused on Gaza. But things have shifted recently with Hamas clearly losing that fight. With Israel now focusing up north towards Lebanon, where Hezbollah is located. And this has included announcing that making northern Israel secure enough for residents to return home is a formal goal of the war, which is notable because before, the war was supposed to be about Hamas, but securing the north inherently implies taking on Hezbollah. And as we've discussed in the past, that's a completely different beast for a few reasons. Right? One is that Hezbollah is way, way more heavily armed than Hamas and has way more troops. Another is that attacking Hezbollah means attacking Lebanon, even if the group doesn't actually listen to the central government. And on the international stage, it's a very different look from fighting Palestinians, because world leaders can and have been hiding behind the fact that Palestine isn't a formal country and avoid very committed stances. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens from here. But I mean, it's looking like there is a real chance this is not gonna end anytime soon, despite the fact that the initial war aims of eradicating Hamas are getting closer and closer. So the most likely way this is avoided.
Oh, nigga, no!
Avoided is that Israeli voters making clear they want Netanyahu out, which also has been happening. Right? Like last week and this weekend, there was a massive protest in Tel Aviv demanding that the government make a deal to secure the last hostages before it's too late, especially as Netanyahu and his allies
You didn't even bring up that Israel killed their own hostages.
Is using the war as an excuse to stay in power. And then Timu
We gonna try this a little differently this time around, because I know that I'm gonna make the title of this video. I'm gonna make the title of this video some very strong shit. I'm gonna say a lot right now. I'm gonna say a lot right now, and then I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. Matter of fact, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel now. And what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to really just talk to you. And to prove that I'm going to just talk to you, I've cleared my chat. Their opinions don't matter. Your 6.7 million subscribers, your millions of text line numbers, your consistent purchasers for the beautiful bastard drops, all of that does not matter right now. For anybody who's watching this, I don't care about your opinion. I am talking directly to you. Philip James Defranco, born December 1st, 1985. Mr. XXC Phil. One of the originators of the coined phrase content creator. Before there was a thing about a show and a people, there was you. Whether it was in that dorm room, whether it was that green screen, whether it was the monkey, whether it was I've been watching you loyally, not because you owe me anything. You don't give a fuck about who I am. But because of you, the YouTube studio in New York opened. And you know that because you were filming there for a period of time. And while you were in there one day, I saw you through the glass door. And before I'd recognized who you were, I was already in my own shit. It was just like, oh, that's cool. Everybody's here. I can do this. I can do this if you can do this. We're going to start personal, and then we're going to go factual. I remember there was a period in time when you met Lindsay and you weren't sure if you wanted to have children. You shared that with the audience. You didn't have to. You were born in the Bronx. I was born in Harlem. We both grew up around the same types of people. I should not fear thinking about you in any other way than just another one of the niggas down the block. Now, I know you moved, you're on a personality, you've got brands, 5, 6 channels. I remember when you was trying to do a conversation with Clips. I remember Rocket. I remember all of that. Now I watch you become exactly what I thought you would never become. Somebody who doesn't have their own opinions. It goes deeper than that. I promise you that. But we started this out with what my main complaint is about you, so let's just keep it there for now. Barely any allegations. That whole BetterHelp, whatever that telehealth thing that you got caught up in, who give a fuck? Everybody got duped. People were selling fucking plots of land to people in another country. You get one free square. Like, shit happens. We get duped. I thought you handled it well. I really did. I thought you handled it well. I thought that there was a very, very weird knocking at your door, and I remember specifically how even if you didn't have a take on things, it rarely felt like you wanted to play a role, not a centrist role, not a fence sitter. You know, people have accused Moist critical of that in the past, not a fence sitter. You would just tell us what's happening. And that was it. Now it hurts to think about how much time I've invested in you for you to evolve into this instead of out of it. I don't know what's going on, and I understand we don't want to draw lines in the sand. You know who else didn't want to draw lines in the sand? The people in the US who were throwing parades for Hitler. Yeah. I expect at this point in your career, with all these years under your belt, 45 seconds of Googling, and I'm not just going to take the script they hand me. Too many pieces and chains in the machine for not one of them to guck up. And you'd be like, I'd rather, what's this about? There were people in America who celebrated the Holocaust. There were people in America who celebrated the rise of Adolf Hitler. We wrote articles about him. He committed a genocide. That genocide is something that never again. Well, it's happening now, and clearly you don't even want to begin to say anything like that. But I'm not going to make this a whole, you don't stand with Palestine, therefore I hate you business. No, I'm going to make it about you, James. And I want you to hear me raw and clear. This is not a script. This is purely, people like you are people I used to look up to. And now that I know that I can't, I have to look at myself as just another nigga. That's all you're going to see me as. Because if you wouldn't even put in the amount of work to say something not as miserable as you just did, imagine the scrutiny I have to go through anytime I even approach a topic like that. And if I approach it the way I want it to be approached, I'm capitulating to the woke mob. If I do it anywhere different, I'm a stenographer for Israel. Wait, hold on. None of that comes from people in my circle. None of that comes from people around me. None of that comes from the larger circle that I might be attached to. It seems like the largest circles are where this is happening. Why you got all the power and don't want to use it for nothing? As simple as a line here, a line there. You're not good enough at this? You gonna get flack for it. Your comment's gonna say some type of thing. You're not gonna respond because you don't do responses anymore. Nobody do that old YouTube shit where we used to sit and pan for 3 months thinking about the perfect response, and it's like Trisha Paytas versus Jeffree Star, and like we're waiting 6 months for the saga. Nope, just live stream it. Just live stream it and watch the world go by. I don't think you understand what type of iron fist you and the other 19 creators that hold YouTube up effectively at this point really have in terms of social status and power. I have people who I've directed to you to be de-radicalized. Hey, you should check out this. It's at least now what? You do one thing that makes people question your loyalty. You do one thing that makes people question your lines in the sand, and then what happens? The next time you tell them trust me, they say, "But what about this?" And before you know it, the conversation's about that before you've even started this one. And now that one defines what this one is. And since that's happening, all further conversations are defined by this interaction. But I didn't do that. You did. All the prep time, makeup, lighting, camera, audio, setups, research, teams, none of that could stop you from doing this. And then just brushing it by. I felt like that before, but I never had a voice to say it. Been watching you on my broadcast for years. I remember when I started this thing, I had a little Philip Defranco-esque a moment where I would talk about stuff for 18 to 20 minutes. Your videos used to be 10 minutes long, 3 to 8 minutes. Remember the 3 to 8 minutes? Remember the 4 to 8? Remember the 5 to 10? All that culture that you've instilled in me being a random motherfucker on the internet, and you threw it away like that. And I might be one person, but hey, if everybody's gonna celebrate the bad thing, at least one person said, hey, I'm gonna make a stand for it. So this is my consider it an Eminem stand type. This is my farewell to the channel, to the community, because you inspired me so much that I was almost a carbon copy of you for a minute. And I could never say what you do and gloss over things the way that you do. You can have some emotion, you can have some heart, because I know that shit's going to affect you. Like I said, I'm going to make this personal when they come to your kids. I've been a teacher for so long. When my students come back to me, now they're 20, 21 years old. When my students come back to me from the past and say, the way that you explain that thing that was just a connection to something we were learning stopped me from getting essayed. People right now, students that are literally have been accepted to Columbia, asking me, what should I do about the protests? You know how I feel. As Jim Carrey said, zzz, 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 zzz. How come that shit hurt me, but it don't hurt you? You don't look back at your own videos? You disconnected? You and your family? You and your family? You and your family with it now? You know kids died during that strike, right? James Bond shit. Callous disregard, even if it's a throwaway line, is why we used to have media literacy classes. Every line is important. Nobody publishes a book and has a throwaway line. It's supposed to mean something because every word is you living out the fictional fairy tale that you're envisioning in your mind. Use your imagination, remember? Where does that leave me? Where does that leave people like me? Automatically, I don't need to hear your response. Because all I know is no matter what happens from this point on, you don't give a fuck about me. Because I vocally expressed problems that you have had for years now, if not decades. And I'm glad that the way you played it gave you a safe life with a safe wife. And I hope the best for you. Because ain't nothing you really doing shaking the earth to change everybody into a Nazi or something. This ain't that big a deal. Don't worry about that. Just know that I know you don't wish the same for people like me. And that's why you and me, see ya.